Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, cracks in Tasmania Police are showing with retainment levels in the spotlight. Last year, the largest number of officers on record left the force, sparking concerns around community safety.
Tasmania Police is under significant strain, with more officers leaving the force than ever before.
Last year, there were 87 police officers that left Tasmania Police, and that's the highest in any one year. The closest was 2012 when we had 71.
Amounting to 7 officers leaving the beat every month in 2022.
There are 70 fully incapacitated members at the moment, and we've got 60 vacancies. Now that causes a lot of strain on our members, and we've only got a workforce of 1338.
Tasmania Police says of those who left the force, 20 retired. But the government is hopeful current initiatives can improve staffing levels.
In January, we're going to be having a recruitment program with 80 participants, remembering that usually it's around that 24 mark. So that's just exceptional.
It takes at least a year to bring somebody back into an operational environment, and they are at the lowest level of their experience.
Igniting concerns for keeping the community safe as a lack of staffing threatens service delivery.
They do their best to provide the greatest support they can, but if there's not enough of them and if so many of them are injured, then we're only leaving Tasmania open to more risk.
Solutions to improve retainment in the force are underway, with a trial at 7 stations across the state aimed at encouraging a healthy work-life balance.
We have 24-hour police stations around the state that are trialling 4-day on, 4-day off rosters. That has been really well received.
There are a range of solutions, and I've had some very positive conversations with the Commissioner, and we just wait to see action on those conversations.
Last week, the Police Commissioner outlined her goals in boosting staff morale.
It's important that we have staff that want to come to work and be happy about what they're doing, understand that they're supported, and also understand that they're going to be recognised for the important work that they do.
Working towards safer staffing levels to combat crime. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
A 35-year-old has become the first fatal crash victim in Tasmania this year after failing to negotiate a bend on the west coast late yesterday. The incident comes as the RACT urges the state government to deliver speed limit reform in the hope of avoiding another tragedy.
15 days into the new year and a life already claimed on our roads.
Our heart goes out to the family and the friends of the person whose life has been lost overnight.
The RACT wants action to ensure everyone gets home safely, calling on the government to implement a consistent approach to speed limits across state and local roads.
Of course, there's a need for assessing roads based on their conditions, the infrastructure that's there, to determine the speed limit, and that's what we're calling for.
A recent Legislative Council inquiry finding concerning gaps in the current regime.
80% of Tasmania's roads are managed by councils, so if you consider that, there's a huge discrepancy across what the speed limit could be from municipality to municipality.
The opposition echoing those concerns.
Channel Highway, where we are today, which has got speed limits going from 80 to 90 and back to 80 right the way along it. The government's previously said that would look at having consistent speed limits there, but hasn't actually delivered.
The state suffered significant road trauma last year, and advocates believe a whole community approach is needed to tackle the problem and drive down the amount of fatal crashes.
At the end of the day, regardless of what the speed limit is, if drivers won't adhere to that number on that sign is irrelevant.
Incentives such as Rotary's Rider program in place to deliver hard-hitting information to young drivers.
The program is available to every Year 10 student. Sadly, a lot don't attend, and the government should make it a compulsory school day.
Promoting safe attitudes, a potentially life-saving tool.
There's 6 hours of very, very valuable training and people sharing their experiences, the police advising of the road rules.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Police are on the hunt for an arsonist after a Glenorchy unit went up in flames early this morning. Emergency services responded to the fire on Devines Road just before 5, working quickly to extinguish the blaze and keep it from spreading to neighbouring properties.
Unfortunately, the unit has sustained significant damage inside of it, with an estimated repair cost of about $200,000.
The resident was not home at the time, with police now asking anyone with information to contact them. Protections the Tasmania Fire Service put in place for the rest of the state are allegedly not being followed by its own industry. The Community and Public Sector Union says there are no evacuation plans, no fire wardens in place and no drills have been conducted. It wrote to the department in November regarding the building's compliance but is yet to hear back.
This is a serious health and safety risk to our members who work in that building if it is not fire compliant. And it's also a great embarrassment to the TFS.
The Tas Fire Service is actually the regulator for this, so it's really important that this work has been put out to an external provider, and my understanding is that that work is being undertaken now.
The department says the plans are due for renewal as a result of personnel changes and facility upgrades. Tasmania's public hospitals have welcomed nearly 100 new medical interns. 44 will start at the Royal Hobart Hospital, more than 40 will be based at the Launceston General and 11 will go to the Northwest Regional. Resident medical officers have also begun their placements across the Tasmanian Health Service. The Shadow Energy Minister has aired fresh concerns about an estimated 20% power price increase across Tasmania. Dean Winter has reissued calls for the state government to cap costs for the next 3 years, with fears small businesses will struggle to keep afloat without support.
But when it comes to power and things, it's something that the business internally has to deal with. My fear is that these sorts of increases will bring a slower death to our business.
Businesses like this one already have pretty large power bills, over $20,000 per year, and if you add another 20% to their power bill, you're talking about over $4,000 more.
The state government has rubbished Labor's claims, calling it a short-term fix rather than a long-term solution, which it says it's focused on delivering. Tasmania's best underwater hockey stars have flown to Western Australia for this year's National Championships. It will be the first time in 5 years the state will have teams in the under-15 division.
It's a peaceful atmosphere around the pool's perimeter, but beneath the blue, an intense competition is playing out.
Underwater hockey is obviously hockey on the bottom of the pool. We've got a lead puck. We get down with goggles, snorkels and flippers. Got gloves to protect our hands, and we basically swim around in teams of 6 trying to score goals at either end of the pool.
3 Tasmanian teams will compete in the National Underwater Hockey Championships this week, including 2 under-15 teams for the first time since 2017.
We've really worked hard on developing the sport and getting back to the beginning level and getting players interested.
The juniors are set to take on Western Australia, Queensland, New South Wales and South Australia.
Each day we're playing between 3 and 2 games and we play every state at least once. We even have to play ourselves.
I'm looking forward to seeing the other teams and seeing how we match up against them and just having some fun.
The teams left for Bunbury this morning and will have just enough time to rest up before the championships kick off tomorrow.
Even if we don't come first, if we come dead last, I'm just sure it'll be, great.
Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The first full-scale festival is set to return to Launceston in early February, with the major Northern Tasmania event back bigger than ever. 60 food and beverage stall holders will take over City Park, while an incredible lineup of live entertainment will also feature.
A lot of local entertainers and some great headliners as well. Super Jesus, we've got Living End, Sneaky Sound System, Shepherd, Thirsty Merc and The Waifs all coming in to headline our entertainment.
There's a great economic benefit when you have events like this in one of our most fabulous cities across Tasmania.
Organisers are anticipating 28,000 patrons for the event, held from the 3rd to the 5th of February. 3-day passes have already sold out, while 85% of single-day tickets have been purchased. Meanwhile, a celebration of Tasmanian gin has seen its biggest number of attendees through the doors, with organisers crediting the perfect drinking weather. Spirit lovers flocked from right across the state for the 2-day Ginuary event at the Princess Wharf Shed.
38 distilleries, many more store holders and close to 2,000 attendees coming down here to enjoy Tasmanian gin.
After COVID-plagued operations last year, the 5th edition of the festival is being deemed a success. The Hurricanes have put on a sensational display in front of home fans, taking out back-to-back wins. A Nathan Ellis hat-trick helped shore up the victory for the Cane Train in a fiery clash against Sydney Thunder.
The Hobart Hurricanes put Sydney to the sword in the Big Bash cricket at Blundstone Arena today, but the win wasn't without controversy. Australian international stars David Warner and Hurricanes captain Matthew Wade were all smiles before the match, but Warner appeared to physically push Wade after a tense exchange with several Sydney players. Handshakes and hugs were exchanged at the end of the game, but commentators suggest the incident might be referred to the match referee. The day got off to a solid start when Hobart's Riley Meredith tore through Sydney's top order, including the prized scalp of Warner.
Bowled him! The in-swinging Yorker from Meredith. Warner dismissed for a duck.
When Fahim bowled Ross at the start of the next over, Sydney was in a world of pain at 4 for 24. Davies crafted a fight back, picking off singles with the occasional 4 and the first 6 of the day.
Davies hits it really hard. Over cover, over the rope, first 6.
Ellis was superb with the ball, picking up the 10th hat-trick in BBL history. Sydney threw the bat during the power surge but couldn't get past a subpar total of 135. In response, Jewel opened Hobart's innings with a 4, but opener McDermott was run out for naught in the second over. And when Sams took wickets in the third over, Hobart's run chase was looking shaky. David and Wade coming to the rescue with a masterclass of power hitting. And while David Sams took 4 for 18, Hobart came out victorious, winning by 5 wickets. The Hurricanes breathing fresh life into their finals hopes. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Hobart International doubles final has ended in a classy straight sets victory for a new duo on the circuit. Kirsten Flipkins and Laura Sigerman took home the championship, claiming their second title from just 3 tournaments as a pairing since joining forces late last year.
Game, Flipkins-Sigerman.
Battling scorching temperatures, Flipkins and Sigerman proved lethal at the net to reap the rewards of their combined experience. Tasmanian track star Stuart McSwain has secured himself a spot to represent Australia at the World Cross Country Championships. He'll line up in the mixed 2-kilometre relay side after taking out the selection trial in Canberra this morning. The local now prepares to lace up his sneakers for the all-important race in Bathurst next month. Round 4 of the Nutrigrain Ironman series has wrapped up in Maroubra. Conditions proved a challenge for Tasmania's Matt Bevilacqua, who placed 7th in today's round. The Ironman still managing to add 14 points to his season total. Matt is now sitting 3rd overall on 68. The final 2 rounds will take place on the Gold Coast in early February. The Women's Tour Down Under officially joined the Cycling World Tour, with Stage 1 getting underway in Adelaide today. Poland's Daria Pikulik Cup setting the peloton, taking out the stage win in a sprint finish. Tasmania's cycling stars are spread out across the board. Georgia Baker is tracking well in 3rd place. Nicole Frayne rounded out her ride in 12th position, while Anya Lowe concluded the day sitting 45th. Stage 2 commences tomorrow.
Good evening. Another warm day across the state today. Launceston 27, 28 in Devonport and 23 in Hobart and Burnie. Low Head reached 29, the state's top today. Friendly Beaches 25, Flinders Island and Ooze both reached 23, 19 for Maria Island and Luncheon Hill, and a top of 15 for Lyawini. Cloud developed over the northeast of the state today, while a cold airstream with lower level convective cloud can be seen over the west and the south. Further out, more cold convective cloud is lying over the Bight and southern waters, and cloud associated with a cold front can be seen over the Tasman Sea, while active thunderstorms are impacting parts of the mainland. Tomorrow, a high will strengthen to the southeast with a cold front passing to the south of WA, while low pressure troughs will linger across the north and west of the mainland. South to southeasterly winds tending northeasterly in the north and southwest throughout the day, ranging from 10 to 30 knots across the state. And there's a strong wind warning from Stanley down to the southeast Cape. Partly cloudy across the south tomorrow. Hobart 21, 23 in Dover, and Ooze to reach 26. Mostly sunny and 27 in Launceston, Devonport 22 and a top of 23 for Scottsdale. Burnie partly cloudy and 19, Strawn 25 and a top of 22 in Stanley. Partly cloudy and 24 St Helens and Swansea, Ross 23. And tomorrow's UV remains at 11 with the sun rising at 5:54 a.m. Showers developing about the north on Tuesday morning, increasing in the west later in the evening, fine elsewhere. Wednesday, showers extending wide in the morning before contracting to the west, south and northeast in the afternoon. And fine about the north and northwest on Thursday, showers elsewhere. A possible shower for Brisbane tomorrow, Melbourne and Perth both reaching 29, cloud clearing in Adelaide and 32 in Darwin. Right now in Hobart it's 19, Launceston mostly sunny in 24 and Devonport breezy in 21. And Lou, those strong winds won't be helping the firefighting efforts on Bruny Island. Tasmanians can stay up to date through Tas Alert with the high fire rating to continue across the state tomorrow.
Thanks for that, Vic, and it's looking very hot on Tuesday as well. That's all your news for this Sunday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Good night.